Welcome to Experience Shared, your gaming book club. Sarah, that's me, Blythe, Connie, and Rook agree on a game, play it, get together, and talk about it. You can join the book club too by joining the Discord, bit.ly/EXP Disco. And your opinion, review, or recommendation might make it into the podcast. With that out of the way, let's get on with sharing.
Wow, welcome to Experience Shared. We really bungled that one because all of a sudden the claps turned our brains off.
Yeah, as soon as the claps happened, our brains turned off.
Where are we at?
I was like, oh wait, I don't have an intro set up.
It was like it was like the Men in Black neuralizers.
Yeah, the neuralizer.
Welcome to Experience Shared. I am Blythe.
This is our fourth episode? Our fourth episode. Can you believe it, guys?
Fourth
Episode 4.
Wow.
Is this 4?
Yeah, I think so. It was...
It's gone around already.
Technically 5, I think, because of the intro one.
But...
So, Meet the Gang, Golden Showers, Hocus Pocus in My Pink, Klonoa.
So yeah, this would be 4.
Then this would be the 4th game one, but the 5th overall.
Yes.
And this would be the final game in the rotation before it comes back around to Mabel.
Yep.
Mabel's making faces for herself because the audience can't see them.
Exactly, I'm bored already.
Alright.
I'm bored of this.
So last time we played Klonoa, and this one was Sly Cooper. I don't remember what got us onto the tangent of wanting to play Sly Cooper. I just know that Connie couldn't decide what she wanted to play. And then we mentioned Sly Cooper, and Connie was like, yeah, okay, let's play Sly Cooper.
It's one of those games I had never played before, but I hear a lot of people talk about it. And I had seen people who own PS2s play it, but I never actually played it myself.
Everyone talks about it, but apparently no one's playing it because the series is dead.
The series has been dead for a while. The last one came out for PS4.
It was PS3, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was PS4, Thieves in Time. Which means it was at least a decade ago.
Yeah, so the last one that came out was PS4.
It came out in 13.
One of Sony's many
do you want to know the end? Do you
11
want to know
years.
the ending to that? Are we ever going to play up to that?
No, we might play up to that point.
Jesus Christ, I'll kill myself.
Alright, so...
I'll go back in time to kill myself. I'll do the gimmick of the game.
So who wants to say the story part? Who wants to talk about what the story is?
Just the intro part?
Maybe Connie should tell the story because Connie is the only one who has played all the way through and beat the game.
Listen,
Yep.
It's very forgiving, but it's still very hard.
Yeah, it's right on the cusp of that old school hard to modern gameplay.
It's the first game. It's PS2. It's still got its shit.
It had no idea where it was going yet.
So, am I starting off?
Yeah, you're telling the story part of it.
So the game, Sly Cooper, Thievius Raccoonus, is about the main character, Sly Cooper, who comes from a long line of master thieves, from every era. I think as far back as, Egyptian period, if I remember correctly.
Ancient Egyptians,
Yeah. And they all have, trademark skills that they have written down in this book called the Thievius Raccoonus. And that book was supposed to be passed down to you, Sly Cooper. But your father was basically beaten to death. I don't know what happened to the mother. I'm assuming she got beaten to death.
They retconned it in the second one, where it's both of my parents died that night.
Yeah, it was a familial purge from Owlman.
Yeah. So...
He wanted to wipe out the
bloodline,
the Cooper bloodline, except for the youngest raccoon,
who was hiding. They couldn't find him.
But also he was perfectly fine with it because he wanted to prove that the Cooper family was nothing without their Thievius Raccoonus.
Yep.
That's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
He basically wanted to...
And then he still died.
Spoilers.
He's a
please.
Robot, anyways.
Well, he kept himself artificially alive. I don't think he's a robot entirely. I think the technical term is cyborg.
Yeah, they're like a cyborg or something.
We can call him whatever we want. He's dead now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's kind of like Mr. House. That's actually a good example.
But, so the whole game is getting back Thievius Raccoonus, which is this artifact of the Cooper family, back from these people called the Fiendish Five. Or Fiendish Five, that's right.
I wish it was the Fiendish 3. Fiendish 5 is a little long.
Yeah. And that consists of... I don't remember all the names, but I know the generic,
I remember the theming.
The
I don't
themes.
remember the characters' names.
The first one was a frog with like
Named
a top
Raleigh or something.
hat. Yeah. He's like, I don't even know what the heck he's supposed to be like theme wise.
He's just a rich boy.
He's just
He wears a
rich.
top hat. I think he's just supposed to be like your typical generic underlord,
rich boy
underdog.
turned bad boy.
Yeah, he was
basically.
a rich guy who got bored and then was just like, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
a
that's right.
bad boy.
He
now.
got bored and decided to become a pirate.
That's right. So,
But he's just a frog. Like, he's not anthropomorphic frog. Bro is literally just a frog.
Yeah, he's just
He
a
didn't get the
goddamn
Kermit
frog.
genes.
And then the next one is like, I think it's a bulldog.
Yes, mugshot.
Yeah.
Mugshot.
Yeah, Mugshot. That one's an easy name to remember.
That one, he's like, he was bullied as a kid, and then he started taking steroids and essentially became the bully.
Yeah, he became the bad guy.
Yeah, and
And
he's
then
he's
there
so
was-
he's so like ripped that his like upper body is way bigger than his lower body. So he
He
literally
walks with his arms
he
like
walks
a
with his
gorilla.
arms like a gorilla.
He 100% skipped leg day.
And then there's Mama something.
No,
and
it's
she-
Ms. Ruby, please.
Ms. Ruby.
Miss Ruby.
She's a Haitian voodoo woman.
Yes.
Haitian crocodile.
Yeah.
Haitian crocodile voodoo
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, she lives in the bayou. She practices voodoo.
And her whole boss fight is funny too because, well, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but basically they're resurrecting like dead like ghosts and just keeps resurrecting them and like terrorizing people. You get your power from that, or your raccoon, or part of the Thievius Raccoonus from that. And then
You get all of your Thievius Raccoon from the boss.
Yes.
From the bosses.
Every-
'Cause that's-
You
Well-
can save yourself time and just call it the TR.
the story is they stole it and then they split
stole
the
the
pages
pages,
amongst
yes.
themselves.
Yes.
but like you get your main super like powers.
No intention to use it and become better thieves either. They just stole
No, they
it.
did. They did steal it to become better thieves.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see them using any of the abilities from the family.
They're not raccoons. Why would?
So they took all the advice.
She has a point.
They
aren't
were literally
raccoons.
like, I'm here for the articles.
But
Yeah.
after that is a Kung Fu Panda.
His name is Panda King.
No joke, Kung Fu Panda.
Literally.
Who basically he was a fireworks merchant.
Pyrotechnics.
Yeah, he was a failed
It's a
one.
little on the nose. What is this? Is this racism? The game?
So he's a Chinese martial artist who is a panda who is massive, like 4 raccoons tall. And
He studied the
he's
power
shredded.
of fireworks foo, I think
Yes.
is what he said.
And he studied the power of fireworks too. So it's a little. It's not. I wouldn't say like flat out racist because they don't give him a racist voice or anything like that. It's a little stereotypical. It's Bond stereotypes because the game is very much presented in a James Bond kind of manner.
Also, all the enemies on that level are monkey themed, despite him being a panda, which makes no fucking sense.
And we were playing it, and I was like, "This is where they got the idea for Kung Fu Panda, isn't it? It's old enough that it could have been."
Yeah, it was a precursor to Kung Fu Panda.
Also, please,
Primate.
primate themed, not monkey.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, they were all monkey.
Primate. I'm literally looking at gorilla, ape, mandrill, chimpanzee.
Whatever. And then the last level is the owl, the big mechanical owl, who reveals like that they were like in the background picture of every like part of the Thievius
Yeah, the
Raccoonus.
dude has a thousands of years long history of getting his ass beat by the Cooper family.
He has a lineage of hate owners.
Yes. So that's, and then the story
Like
ends.
Dio Brando.
The way the game ends is you and Carlita, which is this fox.
Carmelita.
Carmelita.
Well, that's part of the boss fight.
Well,
Why don't you?
I'm talking about before that. Like, you, like, team up together to fight this owl, and then she's like, I'll give you a 10-second head start.
Well, wait, let's talk about the history with Carmelita first, because the people at home don't even know who Carmelita is yet. You're introducing her right at the end.
Right.
So talk about Carmelita's connection to Cooper.
So, Carmelita is a Latin cop who is very obviously furry bait, because holy shit.
She is over-sexualized throughout the whole thing. She's presented as large boobie, snatched waist.
Yep. And every time you beat a boss, there is a newspaper that says, "Hot babe captured this person."
Yeah, I think I got a couple of them.
It's
written
like
down.
always over-sexualized and always...
Here, I've got one.
Okay.
Hot chick with guns busts amphibious yuck mouth.
Yeah, that's the first one.
But every time you beat a boss, it's always in a newspaper, and it's always talking about Carmelita as, like, you know, an object.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
she's objectified throughout
sexualizing
the
her.
whole thing. And, like, I can imagine her, like, being a cop, and she's busted, like, the 5 biggest crime lords, and the only notoriety that she gets is, "Booby lady shoot guy."
Basically.
Don't say it like that because you look
Goofy.
goofy.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
You do the faces, too, that nobody can see.
No, just saying.
But, so yeah,
Can't
she's
do
like a
it.
big
Can't do
fox with, like, blue hair, and then has, like, a electric bazooka thing in a jetpack.
Yeah, it's a stun gun that, like, it shoots a wave of electricity, and her stages where she comes after you are really annoying.
She looks like she's
Well,
50 feet tall in all those sections.
yeah, and the Latin accent they do for her is, like, so mild that you can't actually tell that she's supposed to be Latina until the game mentions that she's Latina. Mm-hmm. And then you notice it.
Carmelita, I thought she was American.
But, like, you're going all over the world to do this, and she's always there, and it's like, I'm pretty sure this is out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
She's the world
I'm the San
police.
Diego ass.
But, anyway, you and her, like, work together to fight this big owl boss. Like, you do, like, a temporary truce. And then, like, she's like, I'll give you 10-second head start to get away.
Get back shot.
And Sly Cooper just kisses her and handcuffs her to the railing and runs off.
He's like, aren't you going to catch me? And she says, no, I'm keeping my promise. 10-second head start. And he's like, all right.
So, yeah.
Sits there for 10 seconds in silence before he gives her a peck. And then they just...
Yeah,
Damn.
I don't really-
This feels...
And
Just fuck. Just fuck. Get it over with.
I never really understood the whole Carmelita and Sly Cooper thing. I don't.
It's supposed to be sexual tension because they're both on opposite sides of the law. Cooper is
I know that.
He's an honorable thief. He's a Gray Fox kind of character, like from
He steals
Skyrim.
from the rich, and yeah.
Yeah, he's a Robin Hood, Gray Fox kind of character.
Well, he steals from. In the story, he says he steals from
the bad guys.
bad guys because it's not very fun stealing from.
From
He's
good guys.
more of a
yeah.
vigilante than he is a thief.
Yeah, and apparently that makes him evil, I guess, because Carmelita still has to arrest
Well,
him.
vigilantism is still against the law
I guess.
but anyway.
because they're worried that people would be taking the law too far if they were to enforce it themselves. As if the cops don't do that already.
Yeah. Literally getting chased with a giant bazooka.
But,
Anyway, after you're, like... So, if I go back a little bit here. At the beginning, you are, like... Sly Cooper is, like, an orphan after his parents have died. And you have these two other characters that are a part of your, like, entourage that help you in your, like, thieving ways. One of them is a turtle named Bentley, who has, like, the most nerd-sounding voice you have ever heard.
look, give us a Bentley impersonation.
Hey, Sly! I fell onto this military grade bombshell and it went up my ass. You gotta take me to the ER, Sly. It literally sounds like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Mabel's cringing, but yeah, that's exactly what Bentley sounds like.
And then you have Murphy, who is a...
Murray.
Oh, it's Murray.
Yeah, Murray.
Murray, and his joke is, haha, fat guy.
He's a
Haha,
giant...
I'm always
like,
hungry.
Or no.
He's the himbo of the group.
He's a big old...
He's a hippo.
Is he... I can't remember. Is
if
he
the movie
pink
was-
or purple?
If a movie was made,
He's pink.
Murray would be played by
He's
Jack
pinkish
Black.
purplish. He's a mix. He's not really like super.
Because, like, in-game, I think he's, like, purple, but, like, in the cutscenes, he's pink.
He's pinkish purplish. Like it's a mix. Like his skin is a mix of the. It looks like a lighter or no, like a more.
He looks
Take
like
a regular hippo and then like lighten the colors
Just-
up, basically.
Imagine a hippo as a cereal mascot, and
Yeah.
you got it.
But anyway, he's the fat guy, like, the hype guy of the group, essentially, and he's fat. So...
He's a muscle. Yeah.
He's fat, he's useless, and he's there just because haha fat. He's the friend who's a burden for the entire group, and he's just there for laughs.
But yeah, so
I mean, he is strong as fuck, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't actually serve a purpose in the narrative in any way that benefits anyone.
yeah, because most of the missions that you have with him are like
Bentley sucks, but he's important. He's intel and stuff like that.
Power scaling moment. I think Murray could beat Homelander.
I think Murray is the driver. He's like the getaway driver.
Getaway driver. He's the muscle. He's the comic relief.
As if literally anybody else couldn't also do that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so you're introduced to all these guys, and you grew like Sly Cooper grew up with them in the orphanage, became their entourage, and I think that's
and
like
it
the
gives
premise
that
for the whole
backstory
series.
twice. It gives it at the beginning of the game, and it gives us that backstory stuff at the end of the game. So, like, he kisses Carmelita Fox, and then he talks about how his friends are key for his success, and that without him he wouldn't have been able to do this. And then he goes over his fucking life history again at the end. And I was surprised that they just didn't slap a Sly Cooper 2 on the end screen, because it was so clearly a setup for the second one. It's like, this one is a pilot game. Sony wouldn't greenlight us making the game we wanted without putting this thing out first. It's like,
Well,
Sly Cooper 1 is a waste of your time. It's not needed. It's not needed, and they tell you that with that end scene.
it's made by Sucker Punch. Do you know who Sucker Punch is?
No.
Same people who made Infamous.
They made Infamous?
Yep.
Another series that hasn't had a game in 10 years.
They make very
So
good mascots, but then they can't keep them. It feels like.
Well, Sony's full of mascots. That's why they had the Sony's.
And
the Sony
they don't use any
PlayStation
of 'em.
Beat 'em up game.
Bring back Patapon.
Bring back Patapon. Patapon is Loco Roco is pretty good too.
But yeah, so
No,
that's the whole
Chaka.
game in a nutshell. Sly Cooper, Thievius Raccoonus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, at the beginning, it tells you everything you need to know. That also happens at the end, and it tells you everything you need to know again. You can just skip the first game.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, just in case you forgot. You can skip the first game and just start on 2. Because you can play the first 10 minutes of Thievius Raccoonus, and it tells you everything that happens at the end, too. So, you don't need to play Sly Cooper. We played it for you.
Actually, does even 2 pick up where like
No clue. I haven't
same-
played it.
Well,
Rook has actually? Rook.
yeah,
Rook's
Rook's
played a
actually
bit.
played a bit of it.
Does it start off with the same spiel?
What do you mean?
Does it
And
repeat
2?
the
Does it
information?
go, my parents died from
Yes.
Owl Man.
Yes,
and
it
I was in
recaps.
North- Jesus Christ. Okay,
Oh my
well,
God.
yeah, you can just
You
play
you
2.
can just skip 1 and play 2 then. So 1 feels very much now, looking in the past on it, a pilot.
I mean, yeah, probably. It was, I mean,
They couldn't get the full budget, and they had this game partially done, probably, and then Sony was like, "You make it an exclusive, and we'll make sure that 2 happens."
I don't know what Sucker Punch did before Sly. I don't know anything else other than Sly Cooper.
Alright, gameplay. Why don't you talk about the gameplay, Mabel?
Me talk about the gameplay? Oh boy, is it really just a character platformer?
It's a
like,
character platformer in disguise as a stealth game.
Yeah, it's like Jak and Daxter if Jak and Daxter ripped all of your cool little moves away before you, and then you had to slowly get them back. Because, like, over the game, like, it's like, Sly, press the O button to do this and that and this. The O button is really just contextual jump button. And it's like, okay.
Do this,
Circle's not really the jump button. Circle's the
No, I'm saying
thief
jump
action
is
button.
a contextual jump button. Like,
Oh.
you have to jump and then press it if you want to hang from circles.
Pretty much every thief ability uses circle. It's your thief ability button.
Yeah, it's the contextual button that needs to be used at certain points. Like, there are, like, a lot of, okay, Sly is the type of game where it'll, instead of giving you something like Jak, where there's, like, a whole world and you can just explore it and then jump around and stuff like that, it has little hub main world, and then you go into little levels where, like, the hub world is also a level.
Yeah, so,
in itself.
like, instead of an open world where you're exploring it and you're going to the locations that way and you can tackle it from any angle like a modern stealth game would do, it's more like it's instance-based. And when you get into these instances, it works as like a heist. And it's a heist stage. You go in, you perform the heist, and then it ends.
Yeah, and then
And
you get
it's
booted back out to the little hub world.
really linear.
Yeah, it's really straightforward.
There is zero exploration in stages.
I think the most exploration I've ever done in Sly was to find, like, a bottle, and that was, like, it.
Yeah,
And the bottle was, like, 2 feet away from the start of the level.
Yeah, so you need the bottles, because the bottles, when you get the maximum amount for the stage, you can interact with the safe, and the safe will give you a page of the Thievius Raccoonus, which will give you a new ability, which is entirely optional. You can beat the entire game without ever getting a Thievius Raccoonus page, other than the ones from the bosses. Because none of them give you abilities that are needed.
They're just quality of life things.
They do
Yeah,
help
you
in
get-
some sections of the game because
There's like a dodge roll one that's pretty useful.
so I gotten quite a few of the skills, and some of them actually help immensely with some sections. Whereas like other ones, you're like, why was this even put in the game?
Yeah, there's one where if you get it, it will be like, it's like so-and-so's fucking magnetic technique. Anytime you're near consumables, it'll automatically magnetize them to you. Like quality of life shit, where it's like, oh, you don't have to run into coins to pick them up anymore. Stuff like that.
Well, there's some that are practical use too. Like they're not like immediately useful in like earlier stages, but in later stages they have more practical use.
The dodge roll attack thing I used quite a bit during stealth sections.
It's like the first one you get.
It's
like,
the first one you get, but it's so useful.
I'm talking more about along the lines of like there's one that's a decoy.
Yeah, the decoy one.
I saw you use that once, and it didn't do anything.
That's why. Well, no. So it's used in very specific sections. There's like the what's it called? There's the searchlight enemies. When you throw the decoys in front of them, they all attack it, and then they enter into an animation where they're like celebrating their victory. And during that point, you could actually hit them.
Okay.
And
That sounds like some Ratchet and Clank shit.
This episode, Connie becomes the Glazer.
no, I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm not.
She's just the most knowledgeable about it because she beat it.
I beat it,
Yeah.
and this was my first time experiencing the game, so it's just my impression of the game.
I've only played it on demo discs, and I did not play long.
But
Damn, that's crazy. Not beating a demo disc is insane. They're like 2 seconds long.
And free.
but
Came with the magazine.
yeah. So the abilities do have some use in some areas, but it's very specific and not always needed. Although some sections I feel like would be way harder if you didn't have it. Like there's this one section in the level like right before we finish the game, Sarah, where there's like a conveyor belt pushing like towards an enemy, and the searchlight is on the conveyor belt, and there's like almost no way to get towards that enemy without, taking damage first. I threw the decoy on the conveyor belt, and they attacked the thing, and then went into that animation where, they can't attack you, and then I killed it. And that's what I mean by that situation. Or there's like certain patrol areas where you'll have multiple enemies patrolling on top of each other, and the only way to really get it is to use...
Sounds pretty useless.
Yes, no, it is useless. Like I said, it's only useful in very specific areas, and that's why it's...
So you've got these massive, large amounts of tools. You every stage that Sly can play, he gets a new ability from if you get all the bottles.
Yes.
And it's a large toolkit, but very little is actually useful, and none of it is necessary to beat the game. You can beat the game without any of these abilities.
Like I said, it's only useful in very specific areas, and it's not...
But the way the stages usually work is you get to a location, you play a short stage that then leads you to the hub world, and then the hub world connects to several other stages, and you need to beat the stages and collect the key that is at the end of the stage. That's the heist portion.
And you have to get every single key.
You have to
on
get
every
a
level.
key from every single stage. And then when you get all those keys, you can unlock the thing that leads you to the boss fight. So once you beat a stage the first time, then you unlock time trials and other content, and if you want to get 100%, you're going to need all the bottles, you're going to need to do all the time trials and stuff like that. It's a very short game. The entire game's like 6 hours. But I probably could have fit on a demo disc and still had room for other games. But the main gameplay is that you go in, you do a stage, you stealth for a bit, avoid the enemies, attack them when they're not looking, collect all the bottles, get the key, get out. It's very linear, very straightforward, no exploration, no secrets.
the stealth doesn't really even work either, because
No.
you can because the minute you're about to come up to somebody and hit them,
They can hear you and turn
immediately
around.
turn around, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't break the stealth because they never
Well, even with the searchlights, if you stand or hit the laser beams, if you hit one of them, they deactivate and then go into lethal mode, and then you have to get hit by it again in order for it to do damage to you.
Yeah, it's generous in that sense, but you can still only... We didn't mention this. You can only get hit once. If you get hit once, you die.
Yeah, there are.
But there is
extra
other
hits.
ways to get negation
It's
of that
horseshoes, and horseshoes basically work like shields.
Extra hits. That you get a silver one and then a gold one. You can only stack up to 2, which is
So
stupid, by the way.
So the game also runs on lives. For some reason, it runs on lives, but when you game over, you get sent back to the beginning of the stage. But if you game over in a boss fight, you just get sent back to the beginning of the boss fight anyway, so it doesn't matter. But this was around the time that Crash and stuff like that were just getting in. No, this was PS2.
Crash
Never
was
mind.
PS1.
It's very structured like Crash, though, in terms of stage design. It's one linear line, but the platforming in particular is interesting. It was interesting. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it was interesting.
It's not like Lara Croft. Honestly, Lara Croft I think is the better weird platformer.
So the way Sly gets through stages is he's got a large cane. They call it a cane, but it's a shepherd's crook. It's a cane with a hook at the end of it, and he uses that to grab onto rings, other objects, so that he can climb on them, swing from them. But he's also got a double jump, and his double jump isn't used for extra height like you would expect a double jump.
It's a hover jump.
It elongates the length of his jump. It doesn't make it higher, it makes it longer.
It's a hover jump. It keeps you in place long enough for you to get further.
Yeah. And the stealth is really just don't walk into searchlights, and sometimes hop in a barrel to walk past the searchlights, and that's really it.
Hop in a barrel to get past searchlights and automated turrets that activate on carpet for some reason.
It's baby's first stealth game, and it's like, if it wasn't for having 1 health, it would be a pretty forgettable game. I think the difficulty really entirely comes from just having that 1 health. It's like Dark Souls. You don't really play it, you memorize it.
There's some sections of that game, I will say, I feel like they're not coded very well, or the perspective of the game does not help it at all. Because there was this one section I remember really bad, if you jump a little too high or too low, you just don't get the hook on with the contextual stealth button.
It doesn't always latch when you do the thief maneuvers.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's really finicky. I think you have to hit it beforehand.
And sometimes it's too sensitive. Like when you get near a barrel and you jump, it automatically latches you onto the barrel, and you can just
it's got a suction cup.
boop,
Yeah.
or boop, and you land right in it. And I've died because of that. And yeah, it's frustrating.
It's very goofy. It's like things made to elongate the game, and I don't really prefer that, considering I beat the first level and I got through the boss okay-ish. To me, the game did not, in that very first level, it did not capture. If that was what, want you to, pull you into the game, that the first, entire, phase is bad.
The only stages that I thought were particularly interesting were the ones with Carmelita, where she's chasing you.
I hated those stages.
Her
so
boss
much.
fight is probably one of the worst ones I've ever played.
Okay, so when you do a Carmelita stage, you're trying to... It's like the running from the boulder stages in Crash. Carmelita's the boulder. Well, Carmelita fires the boulder, which is her gun.
All she does, it gives you a taste of it in the very beginning. All she does is jump around and fire her gun at you, and she doesn't really do a good job at it.
Yeah,
No,
no, her aim
she misses
is
a lot.
fucking awful.
And all it does is really make sure that the stage behind you is destroyed, so that if you mess up your jumps, you die. You die in the Carmelita stages. You die from platforming failures more than you get hit.
Yeah,
I've never been hit by
It's
her.
also
I've
because of
only
the
had
weird
platforming
perspectives,
failures.
too.
it's hard to get hit.
The camera
Yeah.
doesn't keep up with you.
Also,
think
her
at the-
bullets go slow-mo, and it's why do you even have the gun?
Yeah, they're not bullets. She says it's a stun gun, basically.
Yeah,
it's electrified bullets or whatever.
Air firing stun gun or something.
Yeah,
Like,
but
sci-fi shit.
I literally stood still. I was like, "What is she going to do?" Like the first time she's introduced, like, and starts firing at you, I was like, "What the fuck is she gonna do?" And she fired a bullet at me, and I was standing still, completely missed me.
Yeah, it's because she's not aiming for you. She's aiming for the environment so that you mess up and so that you die, because that's how the character's
I think she has
programmed.
like set spots where she get hit. I don't think
Yeah.
it actually tracks you as a thing.
She never actually hits you. She always hits the environment so that you mess up. So she's not trying to kill Sly, and she's not trying to stun. Well, she is trying to kill Sly.
She's trying to kill you.
She's trying to kill you by destroying your environment and make sure that you die by an accident. She
It's just
tries to make it
fucked
look
up
like an
because it's
accident,
like-
which is very cop behavior.
I thought you were trying to take me in to arrest me, not try to kill
Women.
me. Hello?
Can you believe this? Women, jeez.
She's probably on her period. Am I right, fellas?
Women, female hysteria. God.
She's probably on her heat. Women.
Oh God, please don't.
Oh, yuck.
If anything, I fucking hate when an artist is like, I've got this female dog character. She's in heat. I'm like, brother, stop. Please don't.
Stop.
I'll do it.
I don't know. I think it's kind of hot.
So I thought so that's pretty much the gameplay. There are minigame stages.
Oh, I
which
hate them.
blow ass.
I hate them
the
so
minigame
much.
stages suck.
I
Just
ha-
stick to the Sly stages.
I've already described the game to them. Like, I was like, it's literally just Sly, and then you play mini games. That is it. You play twin stick shooter mini game, hacking twin stick shooter mini game.
In the first area, there's only one minigame, and it's a twin stick shooter game where you go around in a little submarine thing and you shoot treasure chests to break them before the crabs can get them, or you shoot the crabs so that they can't grab the treasure chests. If a single treasure chest out of the 30 gets grabbed and brought back into the hole, game over. You gotta start over again.
Yeah,
Thankfully, it doesn't use the live system. You don't get hit.
you just start over again.
You just start over again.
It's
It's a big time waster.
it's
They were trying to be cute and quirky when it's a minigame. Minigame should be optional.
and they repeat that mini game several times.
It was
I
so
don't-
bad. I had Connie play that part for me because I was like, I don't want to do
No, it
this.
was
No,
me.
I had Mabel play that part for me. I was like, I don't want to do this. Mabel, can you beat this for
I
me?
did the racing minigame for you.
Yeah, she did. She did the racing minigame for me. So what
And then-
we can learn from this is I don't like minigames where there's a time limit.
Well, this was the PS2 era. They couldn't make the game entirely about the gameplay. They had to show off that they could do stuff that PlayStation 1 couldn't. And that usually involved shitty minigames.
the switching a lot. They basically didn't want the
Also-
whole game to be one thing.
Whoever it was that decided that every PS2 game needs to have a racing section, I wish you a very die.
I'm pretty sure you said this before at some point.
I said it before, but it wasn't on
said it in a
pod-
video of yours.
Apparently, and it bears
No, it
repeating.
was a stream. It's worth repeating because it sucks. I hate racing. I hate racing games.
And then she's over here glazing Jack 3. Jack video game.
No, I
man. And it's
confused
all
it.
racing mini games.
I confused it. I was thinking of Jack 2.
Damn.
But
That's another series I want to visit.
I also hate it when you do a game series and then you do a spin-off, but you present it as a mainline entry. So I hate Jack 3 for that reason too. But if a game can exist, it doesn't need a racing minigame. Just let the game be the game. Please let the game be the game.
Yeah, Sucker Punch, can we get Sly Cooper carts, please?
God, no.
No one asked for that. No one asked for
There-
crash carts.
Actually, there is like a Sly Cooper minigame game.
Mabel got offended by that.
Whoa.
There's a Sly Cooper minigame game. It's just called Bentley's Hacks, where it's just like a bunch of minigames.
If anything, Crash Carts is way better than the actual mainline Crash games. They're so good. People were like, "No way, they
I bet
remade
you like
this?"
Crash Bash.
Ew, nobody liked Crash Bash. Everyone liked Crash Carts because that shit was crazy. But
Alright.
I've never played a
Uh,
Crash Bandicoot game.
Me either.
and you won't. You fucking
They're
won't. Good luck.
hard.
Oh.
They're hard.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. I did play, but like when I
But-
was in like at like daycare and shit, we had like the little PS2 in the corner at the daycare, and we would play Crash Bandicoot on that, and everyone would die, and then they'd be like, teacher, can you do this level? And she'd be like, I guess. And then she'd die, and then she'd have to keep from swearing. But we'd all be like, oh, she almost said a bad word.
Could you imagine a mini Rook getting angry at that shit?
I didn't like it.
I'm going out to smoke weed. Bye. This game.
Teacher, where's your stash? So, the other minigame is you do multiple racing minigames with Murray, and they're demands perfection kind of racing minigames.
It's awful. I hate it.
It's terrible.
You have to collect,
and they're
nitro.
mandatory too. It's not like, oh, I'll just
the
skip
game.
this one. No, it's mandatory.
And then there's the turret minigames with Murray, where Murray has to sneak in and do some stuff. So you take a manned turret and you shoot bad guys as Murray goes through. And those ones are okay. It's really just about memorizing where the enemies are. Once you memorize where the enemies are, it's easy. And then the last one is a hacking minigame where it's quote-unquote hacking minigame. It's Bentley in a digital turret thing going into the mainframe, shooting things and collecting pass keys to get onto the next area.
He's actually typing
Another
on a
twin-stick
keyboard.
shooter.
I'm hacking into the Hentai Haven mainframe.
Sly, I've hacked into the hentai haven.
I'm removing all the sensor bars.
Uncensored Yahweh, here I come.
Mosaic is for paintings.
I think Bentley would be into anything.
You think? Well, apparently Yuri's very popular in Japan. Even gay men like Yuri. in
Yeah,
Japan.
but those are
Doesn't,
weirdos.
honestly.
Yeah, I think it's just the romance storyline or whatever, because they have a romance heavy focus. But this isn't the Yuri podcast. I made a
yet.
Yuri video
We'll
already.
save that
no
for
one
next
watched
time.
it.
I'm just kidding.
Very on ice.
Yuri
I
on
think
it.
that's everything about the gameplay. I'm pretty sure that's everything about the gameplay, other than the boss fights.
There's literally nothing.
The boss fights have specific mechanics, and they don't make sense. Like, Mugshot has this thing where you have to turn mirrors to have them face a crystal and reflect light into it.
And also,
But Mugshot, all he is just a big buff dude who carries guns.
yeah, and it's like, why does
the crystals have no significance?
It jams his gun for some reason, and that hurts him.
He's like, oh, my hands. Oh, owie, my hands.
But it doesn't make sense. He's not photosensitive or anything like that, and he doesn't, like, the crystals don't make sense in his stages either.
That crystal's kind of bright a little.
If it
just
was-
a little.
It's giving
If
me
it was
bad
about
vibes.
reflecting light, and Bentley was the boss, that would make sense, because Bentley doesn't go outside. But it doesn't make sense for Mugshot. And then
Maybe he looks at himself every day in the mirror. He's like, I'm not good enough, and then the mirrors are
the
like
frog
some
boss
silent
fight
hill.
was good. The frog boss fight was good.
Yeah,
The
I
thing
can
with
find it.
I didn't like about that was, like, they throw stuff at you in the boss fights and don't, like, have any warning that they're throwing at you. So it's like, just like, oh, he's doing one thing, but oop, he's doing another thing. Oh, you didn't know he was doing that? Well, you lost a life, so I guess you got to start over, and now you know. And
It's also funny because
What?
the boss fights, you have... Sorry, you were getting to that.
no.
You have to hit the bosses multiple times while only having one health yourself.
Yeah, unless you have,
Yeah.
like, the golden horseshoe, and even then,
Or you
it's
died like 10 times in the stage and they give you the pity horseshoe.
Yeah, they give you pity horseshoes because they're like, we noticed you're dying a lot. Here, Babby, have a little Babby pacifier.
Yeah, here, little shit. Fucking beat the game already, you fucking numbnut. The bosses have cheap shots. Like, the fucking tongue thing with the frog is so bullshit.
Yeah.
You think he's going to jump around, and then he sits there, and you're like, what's
Yeah,
brother doing? He's
exactly. That's what I meant. Like, he's jumping
And how he
around, then
breaks
all of
his
a
own
sudden he
rules.
jumps there and just starts spinning around, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And then you get hit, and you're like, what just happened? And so you
So,
have to go through that again, and then try and figure out what the fuck you're supposed to do with the tongue.
I had a similar situation with it was the fireworks Kung Fu Panda, where like when I was fighting him. This is actually like when you actually fight like a real boss. Like there's no
Multiple hits.
there's no
Like,
multiple
per
hits.
section.
It's basically how fast can you get to the top of a platform and then beat his ass while dodging his attacks, because he attacks even on his weakness spots.
You're dodging his attacks and you're attacking at the same time. It's an actual real boss fight. Again, while you only have 1 health.
Yeah, and he's like doing karate chops that you have to jump over, and then you have to dodge to the side when he does like a vertical slice, and then you have to actually run away from him when he does like a double.
He has
hand.
tells. You have to predict.
Damn, it's like the
Real boss fight.
it's like Yoshimitsu boss fight from Final Fantasy XIV.
Well, like the funny thing is he calls out his attacks, so you can kind of tell beforehand. But you have, if like when you're fighting him the first couple times, you're like, "What the hell is this attack gonna do?" I don't know, because you always say like fire fist or like thunder clap or something like that.
The only thing I can think of for that is they do give you a lot of lives. Like, in the first game anyway, like, there are lives everywhere. You hit something, extra
It
life.
doesn't matter.
There's, like, you see a hidden life on somewhere, oh, I got another life. I can just go and farm lives. So it's like...
Yeah, I farmed up 36 lives at one point,
Also-
and I realized that was pointless.
Also, in the first fucking like area, why is there any like dangers in like the first like little hub areas in the other?
One dude.
Because for some reason in the first area with the frog dude, there's fucking thorns that you can step on and get hurt by.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
jumped
there's,
to
like,
a life and
brambles and
it,
shit.
and it broke my fucking horseshoe. I didn't even get to use my horseshoe in a regular level. It fucking broke my horseshoe.
I didn't know that.
It pissed me off so bad. I was jumping to get a second life, and I touched it. Like, just barely.
Oh, and something else you can do. You can grab 100 coins, and it gives you a horseshoe, so you can farm up 200 coins, get 2 horseshoes. And then any 100 coins you get after that is extra lives.
I'm not fucking, because that's
Me
so
neither.
annoying.
That's so annoying. It should have
it's
just
way
been
too
lives.
much.
And so the boss fight problem I had was that the frog guy, he breaks his rules when playing. So the frog boss, he sits on a pedestal in the center, and then you have like
little
7 lily pads.
physic pads
Yeah.
that they're like glass little pads, like buoy pads that he jumps on. And basically you can circle around him on like one, but then the next one is he jumps on it and then it blinks and then it'll go under. So you have to go to the next one.
And when he gets to that phase, he does 5 jumps every time. And then you turn around, you jump onto that pad, and you hit him after he does his 5th jump. It's always 5 jumps on the second stage. But after that, he has the potential to jump infinitely. I've had him go as high as like 16 or something like that before he finally stopped and let me hit him. He does not follow his own rules.
It's just super weird. The bosses are really gimmicky. It's really, really gimmicky.
Miss-
They're fun the first time, that's it.
Miss Ruby is probably one of my least favorite fights.
It's Guitar Hero.
It's Guitar Hero, and it speeds up.
I did get that far. I watched Connie after...
It's
I
basically...
watched Connie play with Kung Fu Panda
We're-
onwards.
It's Friday Night Funkin' before Friday Night Funkin' was a thing.
Yeah, so you
which-
have to push buttons in a certain sequence to dodge her attacks, and you're like riding on a turtle. So if you get hit even once during that sequence, you die.
You die.
You're
Yeah.
dead.
And Connie's buttons were fucked up for some reason.
Yeah, my mapping on my controller was completely fucked up, so I had to like spend like 30
The
minutes.
buttons on her thing were I think the same as Sarah's. I think the jump in the circle one was fine. It switched the triangle.
Yeah,
and the,
Retrobat remapped square and triangle for me.
For some reason, my controller was different from Connie's. Like, completely different. And I went over, I was like, oh, it's this and this. And then I tried doing it, and I was like, what the fuck? Why is yours like that? And she's like,
Yeah,
I don't
know what it is. Retrobat's auto mapping doesn't agree with RetroArch's auto mapping. It's kind of weird. But it only did it in Sly. It didn't do it in the other PlayStation 2 games that I
I
played.
haven't had it happen at all.
Yeah, I haven't had remapping issues, and I'm using an Xbox controller just like Mabel is. It's just that specific one. But
So what kind of like Guitar Hero song do you play? And you play like Fire to the Fire and Flames?
What she does is she's like she's like standing like this, and she goes like
Oh, is she like fucking?
doing like the buttons on your like PS2 controller essentially.
the real question is how racist is the Voodoo stages?
Oh, very.
Very racist.
Very.
Like there's like multiple like references to like shrunken heads. There's like all the enemies are like rats, and they have like, you know, stuff in their hair kind of shit.
Oh my god!
It's like, I understand, like, voodooism is, you
I'd rather
know.
just her been like Creole or like.
That's just it. She is Creole. She's like Creole. She's from Louisiana, and she's also like Haitian and does like
would've just
voodoo
preferred
Haitian magic. And
I would have just preferred a Haitian boss fight or something like that. Like,
And
But
the
no,
way she
it's
talks,
like-
she's like, I'm a put a spell on you.
yeah, and it's like, oh, this is.
Don't let JD
Yikes.
Vance see these stages.
this is the best game ever.
All Haitians know
It would only be
witchcraft.
better made if there was a couch level.
That's not
Like
what I meant.
couch level.
I meant more about the racism towards Haitian people.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, oh yeah,
Because he said they ate dogs.
no, he agreed with Trump, and then when that fucking happened, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No, they're not. He's like, Trump is being weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
JD Vance is the perfect lapdog for Trump because he will just eat up anything he says.
I don't know. Trump never did say that. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are crazy.
And he's so much more polarizing than Mike Pence is. Like, but yeah. Anyway,
We're getting off topic here.
got off track. No, it was on topic. JD Vance hates Haitian people.
Well, yes,
but loves
but-
couches. But
Loves couches a
so
little
the
too much.
the boss fight for the owl stage, that kind of sucks. Because what it is it's you go into a thing where Sly is in a jetpack and you fly around and you use a gun to shoot at the flying metal owl, and Carmelita uses her shots to weaken those spots. So you have to shoot the weak spot after Carmelita primes it, and it stays only primed for a short amount of time.
It plays like Star Fox, like the old Star Fox with inverted
So-
controls.
You shoot him, and then you do enough damage to it to cause the next sequence to happen.
Oh my god.
And then in the next sequence, you do the same thing again, but he changes up his attack patterns. It looks like he died because he goes straight into the lava, and you're like, yeah, we won. We got it, Sly. And then he comes out of the lava, and you fight him again, repeat it. Now, if you die at any point in the 3 phases on the final boss, you start over from the beginning.
Yep.
Doing this annoying long section, and there's points where he does this thing where he tosses a ring towards you, and when the ring reaches the the point of your screen, it explodes outward. So if you're not in the center of that ring, you take a hit.
And it's hard to judge when
and
you're inside
again,
the center of it.
1 health, and you have to go through 3 phases,
And a platforming
multiple
section.
stages in those phases.
And the
Yeah.
platforming section.
They fixed
And the
that.
platforming
They
section.
fixed that in the second one where they give you like an actual health bar, but it's awful for a first
They
game.
should have done
It's
it sooner. It's not
awful.
like health bars are new.
It's fucking
Again,
awful.
I don't know why they did that.
Zelda had health bars, and that came out in like the 90s.
And like speaking of when Connie said inverted, the camera working the
oh yeah,
camera.
camera's inverted by default,
Why the
and you
fuck-
can't change
It was
it.
Why
awful.
the fuck did PS2 games think it was like, yeah, you know what?
That's
Instead of turning the camera right to look right look right with the analog stick, and you just hold right.
That's how it is in Japan, though, because when you're in Japan, you're
Sly Cooper's not Japanese, baby.
but the PlayStation is.
No, I don't give a shit.
In Japan, you're controlling the camera itself. You're not controlling the view.
I don't give
In
a
America,
shit.
you control the focal point, but in Japan, you're controlling the physical camera.
I don't give a shit. We're not on a movie set.
But
I turn my analog stick
And
right. The
th-
camera better move right.
and
if
it's
I look,
funny-
if I look up, it better go up. And if I look down, it better go down. And if it goes left, it better go left.
and it's funny because you said we're not in Japan, but Star Fox did have a Japanese
Ancestor.
release maybe, but it had an anime cutscene that you unlocked when you beat the game. It was the anime trailer for Sly Cooper.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's the whole like trailer for like the main game, but it's done in an anime art style.
It looks really
and it
good.
looks so much better.
Sly Cooper.
I still have Sly Cooper downloaded, so I could actually show it to you later if you wanted to.
Also, they did not fix that in the second game. It is still inverted.
I love it.
I mean, it's still PS2 era. So.
Again, I don't know why the PS2 decided to do that.
They didn't fix it until much later because I remember that they kept doing it in Ratchet and Clank all the way up until Up Your Arsenal.
They're just like, yeah, let's invert these camera controls. That's perfectly
you're,
normal.
You're
and fun.
giggling at the Ratchet and Clank titles. They're all like
This
that.
is funny.
There's Full Frontal Assault.
There's Going
There's
Commando.
Going Commando.
Girl Cock. I love Ratchet and Clank Girl Cock.
That's the 5th one.
Think.
It's called Gridlock. People just
Now
call
it's
it girl
deadlock.
cock.
It's deadlock. But yeah, that's the whole game. It is.
Yippee! We're done with Sly Cooper. I fucking hated it.
All right. So, what was your favorite moments?
Honestly, I liked like the little like in betweens because even though it wasn't like animated, it still like showed them doing stuff and going places. You know what I
There
mean?
was a lot of character.
It has a cute like cartoonistic charm to it.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is
It's-
very good.
There's lots of good use of pulling and stretching of objects to make them look more cartoony. When the sirens go off and they warp out and they go
Yeah.
wooga wooga. That's awesome. It's so cartoony. I love it.
It's a
the
cute
little
character
blue jars
platformer.
Jump and like move around and tink around.
And I'm glad that they went for like the James Bond style storytelling because I really liked that. It made Sly seem a lot more than just a thief. It made him seem like a suave, debonair kind of character, even though voice-wise he's kind of just
He's kind of a
some twink.
nerd. He's kind of a fucking
Also-
weirdo.
Another thing to talk about is how like Sly is so much quieter in like the cutscenes where they're talking to each other,
It's because
like Murray and Bentley.
he's on the job.
Yeah, Bentley's like,
Yeah, he's like yelling in your ear, and Sly's
and
like,
like, I can't fucking hear Sly. Bentley, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Bentley's just over here like, Sly! Look at this! And Sly's like, Bentley.
so loud that you could
Please.
probably hear him through the earbud and Sly from like on the other side of the building.
I thought it was funny that
like,
you could move their heads during the cutscenes.
Yeah,
Sly is
there's like a glitch.
Sly's like this. Hey Bentley, I'm doing something. What is it? And then Bentley's like, Sly, can you hit the O button, please? Did you see the sparklies on the ground? And then Sly's like, yeah, Bentley. It's like it's like fucking ASMR.
Translated the part of the Thievius Raccoonus that's in Japanese. Aren't you so proud of me?
Also, maybe if you were saying something during that, I could
we didn't even
not
hear that.
It did not pick up
My
at
microphone
all.
picked it up. You will hear it in the podcast episode.
Yeah, he's like, okay, Bentley, we're gonna do ASMR.
This is the worst ASMR ever because I can't hear it.
We can't hear it at all.
Do you hear that, Bentley? Are you
Oh,
enjoying
now we hear
Right,
it.
now I hear it. Yeah.
And then fucking Bentley will be like, oh, Sly, that's perfect. My ears are tingling.
Yeah, it's like when Sly talks, it's real ASMR. When Bentley talks, it's that guy who puts the cheese grater on his mic and then plays it like a violin with a chain.
They're so loud. It's grating.
I wish Carmelita got more attention. I would have liked a stage where we played as Carmelita.
That comes later, actually.
Really?
You get Carmelita gameplay, yep.
It seemed weird that she didn't have a stage, but I guess it
She just followed you
made
around.
sense. How would the key portion tie in?
She was a very minor character in like the main
In this
parts
grand
of it.
scheme of everything,
Yeah.
yeah, she's very, very minor.
She's
but she
just-
comes in.
She's just kind of
later
there,
in the later
and
games.
they make that very, very apparent when they're just like degrade her down to hot cop catches big bad guy. It's like
The cartoon aesthetic, it goes really far. Like, it's not just like the models and the stretching and stuff like that I was talking about, or how it's structured like a show. It's like, it has title cards and stuff like that too when you go to a new island.
Yeah.
It pops down like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
And they're all
It's-
like pun names.
it's always like the Sly Cooper gang in, and then title of the area you're going to.
It reminded me of like Very Odd Parents title cards almost.
Yeah, kinda.
Where like
Yeah,
it has like a picture of the thing and then it's like a pun name on top of that.
It's like when crossover episodes or whatever
Yeah.
were back.
Oh
like,
yeah,
in
the Jimmy
Cartoon
Timmy
Network.
Power Hour or whatever.
Yeah, where they would just like like Jimmy Neutron gang in blah blah blah, and that kind of stuff that happened back then. It's so weird. I don't know where they pulled it from, like, or why they got it like that, but it's cute. The game. I mean, I think the overall charm of it is really nice. Like, I think like the weird like cartoony bendy thing and everything looking so cartoony is really really nice. They switched that out, I think, for cell shading. Like Borderlands cell shading kind of.
I think they are
later ones.
cell shaded in the first one, but all the like the art and the cutscenes and stuff, that is all like that.
It gets thick. It gets thicker in like the later
Yeah.
games.
The art is
But,
very pointy. I don't know how else to explain it. It's very pointy.
Yeah, they're very like geometry based. Like they're way more simpler.
I
Like,
use striking and bold to refer to those to those shapes. The pointy thing is kind of funny.
like Sly is made up of like literally 2 triangles.
Yeah, he's made up of a bunch
like-
of triangles.
Yeah.
Carmelita has an obnoxiously long snout.
Not really.
Damn, shaming her.
Oh
Fuck.
yeah, I'm sorry. We're talking about stuff we like. I forgot. Let's go on to the stuff we don't like. Everybody get all their likes out of their system now.
No, not all of them. There was like the scenes with like the collectible like treasure bottles when you open them. I thought it was like a neat little detail to have that little extra animation when you get the Thievius Raccoonus page that you put like your little calling card in there at like the end of it.
Yeah.
So like every time you go back in that level, you see that still there, and it's kind of funny.
Not that you want to replay the game.
No.
It took those parts took too long.
Really,
Yeah.
I would
was
rather it just
such
be,
a
like, quick,
time
like-
waster.
if it could be
'Cause it
skipped,
would-
I could see that.
He would like riz the page up like and then like slowly take it and like lick it or fucking shit, and it was just so long. It's so long, and then he takes out his little card and puts it there and delicately. It's so annoying.
He puts
It's
it
so
there,
annoying.
and then they zoom in on it, and then they zoom out, and it's like, okay, I didn't
These
need all
safe
of that.
locations are fucking stupid. They're just out in the open.
Yeah.
Like some of them are literally just sitting on the grass.
Or they're in the worst spot ever too. Like a lot of the safes is like you have to backtrack to get it, and it's kind of very. It's
Yeah. If we have to collect every single bottle in the stage, why are you putting the safe at the beginning of the stage? So I have to run all the way through the stage and then come back.
That was only on a few of them.
I
to
think
give it
they
credit, that was
assume
only
that you're
on
going
a
to
few
beat
of
the
them.
stage, come back,
That's
and
only on a
interact
few
with
of
it.
them, but they're all in stupid different spots. Like the one in the beginning area where it's at the like near end of it, where you have to jump off like upon the lily pads. Like to get all of the bottles, you then have to go through it and then jump back through the lily pads to get to the
I
safe.
guess we're on negatives now because we transitioned out of out of Connie liking the cards into everybody hating the calling card.
I didn't say I hated it. It was a nice touch. If it could have been skipped, that would have been better.
Yeah, you see it once, you've seen it every time.
Yeah. It was cool the first time. I liked it the first time, but yeah, if it could have been skipped later on, that would be preferred.
Because it was just like
Alright.
a big. It's like Link opening a box and going, but longer.
Today, Junior.
But longer.
Not you.
And it's
I'm
like,
talking about Link doing the box
yeah,
thing.
no, I know. It's just it's fun the first few times, and then it's like, okay, I get it.
So things I hated.
Every
God, where to start?
it's
No.
a game. It is a game.
It
a
is
game.
just okay. If I played this in the day and age that it came back, I might have liked it. Nowadays, it's very clear that this was not the first game that they wanted to make. This was
I wish I had my phone so I could see what they did before Sly Cooper, but I don't know.
this
I don't
is
have it.
this was very much a pilot game. Where is it? Murray stages suck. Of course, we talked about that.
Fuck those stages. I hate them.
He's useless. It's I don't know why they did that. It's such like a time waster because what he does is he goes and runs, and then a dude pops out, and then he runs back, and then he just has to retrace his few steps that he ran back from.
Everyone hates his stuff because even Retro Achievements took his when you win the race, the Retro Achievements title for the achievement for beating the race is
Managed to not pull your hair out.
manage to not pull your hair out. So even the community hates the racing portions because Retro Achievements has an achievement called "You didn't pull your hair out."
Good job, you beat it.
You know what's
Finally.
funny? Is the first one is the hardest one because there's another racing section in the Rocket Panda one that's way easier for no reason. Like I didn't have to restart multiple times. I beat it on like the first time. So like that makes no sense to me why the hardest one would be at the beginning and the easiest ones would be at the end of the game.
Something I didn't like is that the checkpoints were too generous sometimes. Sometimes you would trigger a checkpoint without going anywhere near it, which means that if you fell or died, you would entirely skip a platforming puzzle, and you wouldn't actually get to play the platforming stage because the checkpoint triggered so soon, you just teleport through it.
Honestly,
I
that's one of the parts I liked because fuck that.
I had it happen 3 times, and it just feels like it was an accident, like they didn't mean to do that.
Mabel, you were asking what other games they developed?
Yeah, before Sly Cooper.
Rocket
Before
Robot.
it was Rocket Robot on Wheels for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And the other games they've made is Infamous and then Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're still around.
They're still
It's
around.
just- They don't do.
They don't make a lot of games.
Well, from what I heard, Ghost of Tsushima has talked a lot more than Sly Cooper is.
Yeah.
That was made 4 years ago, though. So,
Well, they're making the new one that's coming out,
true.
too. Ghost of Yotei.
Yokai.
I hate that it had lives. That felt entirely unnecessary.
I feel like if you didn't have lives in the game, it would have just been fine.
I hated that it was one-hit wonder. Like, one hit, you're dead. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know. I really just I hate rage platformers. It really is like.
It's not even a rage platformer. It's just the one health thing doesn't make sense.
Well, it makes you feel like extra cost is just what it does. It lengthens the process. You don't want to die.
Yeah, but when it's a character action platformer, I don't want to take my time.
Yeah, that's.
There needs to be room for mistakes, but not so much room that you can't fail.
The biggest gripe I had is that the camera is a physical object
Yes.
that
Yes.
can be collided with. Things can collide with the camera. Things can get caught on the camera. The camera is a physical object that can get trapped on the other side of a wall while you walk off and the camera is still there. I had this stage where we came down after like when you climb down the ACs and then you go across the bridge and you go into the building. My camera got caught on the glass of the building, and I thought it was hilarious, so I just kept going without it. And it stays there. It stays latched onto the wall while you keep walking past and around the corner.
The camera's gotten me killed multiple times.
That poor little cheap can't move. Please come back, please.
Come back.
I'm gonna lose my job.
Isn't it a Lakitu? Yeah.
Lakitu. I don't know Mario character.
It's a Lakitu. It's like the little Koopa on a
Little
cloud.
turtle guy on a cloud, yeah. The Lakitu was working on minimum wage.
Yeah.
He was just there. He was there for the check.
He wasn't working at all.
It's his first day on the job, and he doesn't
He was
know how to
taking
run a
a
cloud.
coffee break.
He's like, shit, he can do that?
He's an intern.
He's an intern taking a coffee break.
He's like, oh god, they're gonna kill me.
Also, world famous thief can't beat 1 inch of water.
Yeah, well, there was a thing they gave you,
There's
like
a scroll for water protection. I don't know what it does though.
It's only useful in the early stages.
in in Ms. Ruby's stage, it's the most useful, except for the one stage when you're trying to run away from the snake. That was like a Ratchet and Clank, not Ratchet, not Banjo. Fuck, what is his name? Crash. It was like a Crash.
Name the
one
right game, please.
because you're shut up. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, it's like a Crash Bandicoot game where you're running towards the camera and trying to
Oh yeah, I remember that part.
like get away from.
You had to predict the platforms coming at you.
Yeah.
Rather than seeing where you
And
need
like
to go.
the scroll where it's like, oh, when you fall in water you don't die, that was helpful, except it kept skipping me through the stage, so I kept missing like bottles I was trying to catch, right? And like the snake coming at you was like destroying the platforms behind you, so you couldn't just go back, so it pushed you forward. And then it's like, well, fuck, I'd have to do it all over again to get all the bottles. So it's like, I might as well just not fucking do it.
Was it me, or was the platforming at the beginning of the game harder than the end?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like the main...
The lily pad laser section
Maybe.
particularly felt really hard.
It's because they had physics. They're moving, and then like the rest of there's no water in any of like
They do
other
the
stages.
physics stuff on the second stage too, but it's not as important.
It feels like it got easier because we're used to it by then. You know what I mean?
It feels like one of those games where it was like it wasn't play tested by a QA team, it was play tested by the devs themselves, the people who already knew the answers and how to beat the stages.
The tomato gaming for back in the day.
God.
Yeah, like there should be a team of people that is like just full of video game illiterate people, and then they do the play testing. and then they adjust the game based off of how the video game illiterate people play. Like, get a team of game journalists. Like, get the guy who did the Cuphead.
I was just about to say, the guy who
like
did the
the
Cuphead
Cuphead
demo. It was like, oh, it wasn't even the
That
demo.
poor
He didn't even get
journalist.
through the fucking tutorial. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, brother.
As a game journalist, big surprise, y'all. We are not hired for our ability to play games, but our ability to write.
I feel like
That guy
it should
will
be
never live it
both.
down.
Or read.
I feel like if that guy dies on his tombstone, it'll be like, never be.
Never be
Cuphead.
Cuphead.
Tutorial.
He'll have the Cuphead tutorial engraved in it. Just that one section where he's double jumping and sliding
and
into
then
it.
like midair, you can see that he's not going to make it.
Imagine that guy in like purgatory, just like forced to do that one section until he finally beats it, and then he gets
For
to
his
go
sake,
on.
I hope you don't have to do any platforming to get into heaven, because he's just fucked.
He's fucked.
Purgatory is between those two
To
pillars.
get into heaven, you need to play Flappy Bird with yourself.
Oh, God. I'm definitely
That's
not
why we
getting
give
into heaven.
angels wings.
I can't even win Jetty Boot. I'm not gonna do good
Oh,
at
fucking
Flappy
Jetty
Bird.
Boot. Jetty Boot's hard.
All right.
Oh, my God. Another thing I hated about Sly Fox. That's the thing. Y'all, I keep calling him Sly Fox. I don't know why. Because I think I'm thinking of Spy Fox.
People's face.
I don't know.
Or you're maybe thinking of the phrase "sly as a fox."
Maybe, or I'm thinking of the fucking YouTuber. I don't know. But the thing I hated in Sly Cooper was the hitboxes. Sometimes the hitboxes were very, very generous, and then sometimes they just weren't. Like, they just were not there. Like, a few times I tried to jump and do like a thief, like hang on, where you like hang on to rings to like get across a big gap, and it just
Thief
wouldn't.
actions, yeah.
It wouldn't do it. I'd hit
Yeah.
O and he'd
It
just
doesn't latch.
fall, and it's like, what the fuck? Excuse me, game, hello? And it's like, that killed me, and it killed me a few times, and after a while I was like, hey, this game kind of blows ass.
Yeah. So I think the reason why the beginning of the game's harder than the end is because the beginning of the game has you doing the actual platforming yourself, and then about halfway through the game you get what's his name?
You get the O button to do it for you.
You get Reishi Cooper's ability to press O on stuff, and you press O on everything, and the platforming is done for you. I think that's why the beginning of the game is so hard, because you have to do the platforming, and then halfway through you get the ability to do the thief actions on things like the wires and the pinpoint jumps and stuff like that. And the majority of the platforming on the game in the last half is those very tiny jumps that are basically done for you. So I think that's why the platforming got easier, because it was done for you.
It becomes timing-based platforming versus physical platforming.
Yeah, and like, this might be a me thing, but sometimes I would just forget to press O when I'm like going for a jump, and it'd be like, oop, you missed it, and it's like, fuck.
Is there something you want to say, Mib?
Huh? Oh no, I'm being autistic.
So what would you change?
A fucking health bar, honestly.
Definitely needed a health bar because
Yeah, give me 3 hearts.
there was sections where I ended up killing myself just to get the golden horseshoe.
They
so
don't
I could
give you the
progress.
3 hearts because they know you'll blaze through it if you have 3 hearts.
Me calling the suicide hotline. I have to kill myself. I need to get the Gordon horseshoe, please.
There was definitely sections where like this platform is gonna suck unless I get the golden horseshoes.
Yeah, there was some points where I was like, I'm just gonna jump off the map until I get some horseshoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I like how generous it is with like some of the timing, some of the like,
Suicide hotline. How can I help you?
some of
Gordon
the
horseshoe. What are you talking about?
some of the timing, some of the horseshoes, the power-ups they give you, like the checkpoints, like Sarah said. That was great. I wish they fixed a lot, like, I don't know, giving me health, being able to skip cutscenes, like certain cutscenes, like Bentley just talking and talking and talking.
And talking and talking.
And it was, oh my
It's-
god, he talks so much.
It's very, this is our first game. It's a first game problem. All of it is full of first game problems. Stuff that just isn't an issue in the sequels. It's like Ratchet and Clank, the first Ratchet and Clank, I hated it. I did not like the first Ratchet and Clank. I didn't think it was very good. It was too character action platform and not enough shooter. and then the sequel fixes that, and then the third one refines it and perfects it. Sly Cooper has first game problem. This is our first game. We don't know what we're doing yet. We haven't figured out exactly what Sly Cooper is yet.
Unfortunately, I have to tell you, it's going to be more of this. If we go back to it, it's going to be more of the same. It's just they fix the whole hub level thing. They don't do it as much. They make the hub levels a lot bigger.
And then in the second one, you get a health bar. You get you don't have to like do the codes. It's just for getting extra money. You can buy your power-ups instead of actively having to earn them. It's better.
Open world.
It's pretty open world, except
they just make it bigger.
You have specific things you have to do with
Sly
a specific
Cooper
character. You get to play the other characters.
Sly Cooper seems built for the kind of gameplay where you can tackle it from multiple different ways, but they don't really do that in the first game. It feels like one of those games where it's like, you can play it like a character action platformer and play it this way and go and take this path, or you can do the stealthy path and take this path. I feel like Sly Cooper could be built for that, and it would be a pretty natural fit, but they don't do that in the first game. It's all stealth.
Oh, and also, in the first game, they'd make you, like, earn a map for the areas you're in, so you learn like where all the secrets are, where all the breakable things are, but only in the second half of the area, which didn't make any sense. So it's like, maybe put that as one of the first things you earn in the game.
Yeah, pretty much any other game, the map is always the first thing you find. Like Legend of Zelda, first big chest you open up is almost always the map.
So it's like, maybe do that instead of, I don't know, putting it towards the second half where it's like basically useless at that point.
Yeah, I wanted more reason to use the little binocular things that he has to find the breakables.
I've only used those by accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I had to use it like maybe once or twice to find stuff, but it's because I didn't have like this map thing to tell me which things were breakable. And
imagine like using the binoculars and being able to like tag an enemy, and then you could see their location through walls.
Yeah,
like you do nowadays.
That would be awesome.
That would be neat.
Oh, and also there were certain levels where in the levels you have to collect like clue bottles in order to open a special safe, in order to get like a special thief power or something else. And some of the levels, the bottles were just, you don't get these unless you interact with this specific thing. And you won't know to interact with that thing unless you like someone tells you or you figure it out on your own. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Just put them somewhere hidden.
I don't like how the final boss makes us use the jetpack. It's like, what was the point of the Thievius Raccoonus and us collecting all these abilities to make ourselves a better thief if we weren't actually going to have any practical application for those abilities? Like,
it's social commentary, baby. Technique will always be beat by technology. Get out of here.
Well, even at the end of the game, he's like, the Thievius Raccoonus doesn't make the better thief. It's the
bazooka and jetpack.
It's the friends we made along the way.
It's the friends we made along the way.
It's like,
that's literally how it ends.
The game is like so incredibly optional from beginning to end.
Every game is optional. You don't have to play this one either.
I mean, she's right. Every game is optional.
Every game is optional, but I mean in terms of the Sly Cooper lore, in terms of the Sly Cooper anthology.
And it's like you don't really have to play the first game because they just recap the main parts of the first game in the beginning of the second game. So it's kind of like, well,
this definitely felt like that type of game that they, gave to Sony to be like, yeah, we can make a cool action character platformer game, and then possibly went on to make like the rest of it.
I don't get why they were doing it. There's so many on the PS2. They had Crash still, they had Spyro, they had Rayman, they had Sly Cooper, they had Ratchet and Clank, they had Jak and Daxter. Like, there are so many character action platformers that they started having sequels to these games that weren't character action platformers because they knew it was oversaturated and they had to get away from it. So, like, I don't get why there was so many. Like, who... I guess people were asking for them. People were definitely asking for them. Spyro had how many sequels? Rayman had how many sequels?
Spyro has a lot of games.
Crash has a lot of sequels, too. Like, people were clearly asking for him, but then Sly Cooper just got ignored. And Sly Cooper was more involved than a lot of those. But yeah, that's it for Sly Cooper. Let's go ahead and give our ratings. We're just going to do overall. I was editing and I was like, the graphics, sound, all that stuff. We talk about those things individually anyway. Rating those individually is just a big time waster. So let's just give our overall rating and our final thoughts on it. So, Connie, you beat it. Lead us off.
I definitely would say it's probably like 5 or like I'll give it a 7 for just very average.
7 isn't really average. 7 is good.
Is it? Okay, then I'll
Yeah,
give it a 6. I don't know. Whenever I see a 70 on a game nowadays, it's just all right. Like when I see a 50, it's just like, wow, this must be like barely passable. So.
Well, if you think about it, like your scores on schoolwork, 60 is D.
Yeah.
60 or less is D.
Yeah.
But then like 60 to 70 is like a C. So I think 60 is a passing grade.
Yeah, it's a passing grade. I think it did what it did well, but then there's other sections where it just didn't. I felt like there was a part like after the part where I got to the swamp and I was just like, man, this fucking blows.
How can such a short game feel so long?
Everything takes forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of waiting for stuff. You thought Spiritfarer was a lot of waiting? This is a lot of fucking waiting for stuff to, like, get back to you after circling around.
In Spiritfarer, waiting's a mechanic.
Yeah, and then you go and do other shit. I don't...
Alright, we're not talking about Spiritfarer
you go
today.
and fish, baby. It's my fishing.
The biggest Spiritfarer blazer
more like
over here.
Fishfarer.
I want to say, I'm flipping between 6 and 7. It's a 6. It's a good, serviceable, working game. There's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just not. It's not a game I like.
It's aesthetically pleasing, but it's not a fun game to play.
For the time, they did everything right, but it's not a great game. I'm not gonna remember this after this until we play the next Sly Cooper.
Yeah, it's very forgettable.
I can see why people talked about it. I can see why people liked it. But God, I don't care. I don't care. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. But it's like close to a 7.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too.
It could have been great. And if the sequel is better in every way, like y'all have been saying, maybe the second one's a 7. But I played through 3 worlds, and I was like, I don't feel the need to play any more of this. I feel like it's going to be just more of the same.
Yeah, I feel like everyone quit right at the 3rd world.
It could have done better if it was shorter. Take out those minigame stages.
Mm-hmm.
The minigame stages.
I'm playing Sly Cooper, not Murray. All right, Mabel, give us your number.
I'm looking for a 4.
A 4.
Not a 4 right now. Not a 4 everybody. Not a 4. I can't remember what the guy said. It's 4. It's a game. It's a game. I didn't enjoy it. I think I actively said to myself, I'd rather go back to playing Klonoa.
It's at least not broken. Every part of the game functions except for that thief interaction sometimes.
It's a game. It is a game. It is a game like every other game on the PS2.
It functions.
It is a character action platformer, and I was not attached to Murray or anything like that.
The aesthetic carries it.
Nothing was like, oh yeah, Sly Cooper, I'm gonna beat my meat to that tonight. I'm gonna get zesty with this game. Nothing like that made me feel that way towards that game. I was just, if anything, this is a non-characteristic game for me, because I didn't beat it. I didn't beat it this time.
Yeah, this is like the first game that like Mabel hasn't beaten.
And Mabel beats games she doesn't like sometimes, like Klonoa.
I beat Klonoa. Think about that.
Yeah, and Klonoa was hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Do the math.
I beat Klonoa as well.
Something ain't adding up right now, and it's fucking Sly Cooper sucking.
Alright, Rook, what is your rating?
If you add up like the art and like the story and like the character interactions in the beginning, not like towards like the middle, because after that I was starting to get annoyed with it. I'd give it like a solid 5.
Yeah, it's a very okay game.
It's okay. The second one, I'm like only on like the second stage, and it's already way better than the first one. Already leagues better than the first one.
I wouldn't have bought this at launch. I would have played the demo disc, and I would have been like, I'm gonna see if I can find this used.
It's one of those games you find used, and you play it when you have nothing else to play.
Alright, so would any of us recommend it to anyone? Is there a specific kind of person we can think of that we would recommend this to?
People who like older platformer games, I guess.
Furries who won't play something unless there's furries in it.
Yeah.
The torturees at Guantanamo Bay.
People who like
Get
cock
off.
and ball torture.
People who goon over Carmelita.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep turning up the wattage on the electric shock chair if you don't get all of the message in the codes for Sly Cooper.
Speedrunners. I think speedrunners.
Oh yeah, there was like a speedrunner thing where like when you like beat the stage and then get all the codes and all that for the stage, then you had like the time trial where you see how fast you can finish the stage. And it's like, okay, I guess.
I think speedrunners would really like this game.
Especially with the roll ability, because
It's got a tight working control scheme.
You're a tight little control scheme, aren't you?
Tight
Little control scheme, aren't you? Yeah.
You barely used,
Alright.
aren't you?
So, Mabel, what is the game we're playing for the next one?
Gauntlet Dark Web.
On what system?
PlayStation, baby.
Okay.
We own that, don't we?
We don't need to own it. We have the World Wide Web.
I know.
But yes, we do own it.
We own it on Xbox, but Xbox only has 2 controller ports.
Xbox original, baby.
And she wants to play it co-op, which is great because it means that we can actually finish it quicker.
Yeah.
We can get it all done in one sitting. We don't have to worry about everyone,
And it's made better with all 4 players. It is a tasty, warm game.
The only problem is that we're gonna have to figure out we're gonna have to get a PC hooked up to the TV in the bedroom.
It's like
Oh god.
pecan pie with really cold whipped cream.
It'll be like the olden days where everyone's crowded around a console playing one game.
I mean, we could try running it on my Retroid Pocket 3,
I already can tell what's going on.
and then use wireless controllers.
What's gonna happen with Sarah's opinion of the game? She's gonna fucking hate it.
I don't like older RPGs.
I'm not listening more. I think your license as a game journalist should be
People have been
revoked.
talking a lot about Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Was there a remaster or something recently?
No, it's just a good game
Okay, but people have been talking about it particularly frequently lately.
because it's a banger.
It's
does that
probably
have to
because
do
they
with
haven't
the time?
had any new games in like a long time.
Yeah, Midway Arcade is gone, so I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why they're being like, where was they at? They're dead. What are you talking about? They're fucking in the ground.
Okay.
It's like asking where Abe Lincoln is. Buddy, he's maggot food
But
right now.
they've had like
he's
several
dirt.
games. It was like a pretty big, title, but it just kind of disappeared.
I'll see if I can get it to run on my Retroid Pocket 3, and then if that works, we can use the wireless controllers and hook it up to TV.
We don't
A
have wireless
a
controllers.
quick thing is Gauntlet was an Atari game. It was an Atari game, and then it was picked up by Midway. And then we're playing Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which is a expansion of the arcade game Gauntlet that they made. That basically has that was only in arcades and was basically made to sit up like on a big like flat screen or not flat screen, but like a CRTV in a cabinet.
Oh wait, y'all are going on a trip soon, aren't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should play something else and then play Gauntlet when you get back.
Well, it's only 3 days.
It's only.
I still
But
have
that's
the
3
rest
days
of the
that
week.
y'all are
Besides-
here. That's most of a week.
We can play it right now. How about we hook it up right now? How about everybody come in
Get
here?
up right now. Everybody come into my room. My monitor's too. Okay, well, we'll figure out what we're gonna do for it. But let's wrap this up first.
I want it right now.
Let's wrap this up first.
Give it to me. Okay, bye-bye.
Wait, we gotta do some plugging stuff.
Oh yeah. Thanks to the sponsors at Patreon. And of course, without you, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Let me just bring up the actual page, the patrons page, so you stop fucking
No,
ad-libbing
because
a
like
goob.
it's funnier if she does this, because then you can just go in and with like a monotone voice and read off the fucking.
She's not getting anywhere close though. There's a lot more than what she's making gaps for.
And of course,
You know
the
how to
other
edit.
people for.
Here's the list, Mabel.
Okay. Without you, the Patreons that have subbed. We wouldn't be able to do this. Thanks, Nat, Celine,
Selena.
Oh shit,
Shaliner.
Selena, Marius,
Marius.
See, this is why you shouldn't.
Mabel
be
can't
mean.
read. Hello?
Worm syrup,
Illiterate.
Radiant,
Radiante.
Radiante, stupid name.
Maple! You can't.
I'm just kidding.
You pay us $5 a month for Mabel to talk shit about your name.
I'm just kidding. I'm just making fun for you. Thank
Oh
you,
my God,
Radiante.
Mabel.
Rascal Wendigo, Ver, Bev.
Beeve.
Aw, that should have been Bev. Beeve, Bait. Oh, did I say it wrong? Is it Bite?
No. Bait is right. Bait is right. Next one.
Sly, Colorado Blue, Vaderson, Vaderson, sorry, and Linky.
Also,
Hello, little
Malding
sexy
Brick
German man.
and Splackjack.
And Malding Brick and Slapjack.
Splackjack.
Splapjack. Splatoon.
She didn't say it right that time either.
Never letting Mabel read the Patreon.
Alright, that's the
members again.
Patreon read. Thanks for giving us your money.
Thanks for the
I hope
money.
it was worth it.
Thanks for the money, bozos.
Alright. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe for more. And if you're watching this on Spotify, make sure you rate and comment or something.
Or something.
And
Thanks to all of the
Check
zero
me out
Spotify
on-
listeners. If you use Spotify, you're a fucking dork.
if you're watching this on Spotify, consider checking out the YouTube video.
Watching
because the YouTube
on
video has some
Spotify.
gameplay in the background.
You mean listening? Old lady? Good lord.
This is the worst outro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to redo this whole outro.
This is why I pre-record this stuff. No, and the podcast is meant for me to be doing very little editing. I will not be doing any. I will not be getting rid of any of this.
Oh god.
I'm just gonna fix the audio levels, and then I'm gonna do silence detection to get rid of all the gaps, and then I'm just gonna upload it like that.
Oh no.
I thought you said you would do that. Annie.
No, I wasn't gonna do the removals because it does it wrong. Anyway, thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. We'll see y'all later. Check me out on Twitter. No, not on Twitter.
Blue sky.
Blue Sky. Sarah's Thanks. Mabel on Blue Sky.
I'm Impidimp on Blue Sky.
Rook on Blue Sky.
I am up
No.
up dog on blue sky.
That up dog. On
And
Blue
Connie on Thank you for watching, and see y'all later.
Sky. Join the public education system to see her.
Oh, please.
Sly, I'm beating my meat to hentai girls.
Sly! I'm gooning!
Y'all got anything funny you want to say before I click the end button?
Subscribe to my Patreon, Sly! And then just steal all the money and run.
Alright,
And see big booty Carmelita.
click the stop button. You click the stop button on your recording.